Okay, in this video I talk about Sword and Shield for Monster Hunter Wilds upon release, and I think this is going to be the best video that talks about Sword and Shield on YouTube because we're going to get really in depth here. So what are the main changes from the open beta? Well, the Y attacks are much easier to press. There's actually an increase in input buffering, so it just makes it easier to play and also feels better to play. This goes for all the chops and the lateral combo. That's your Y combo and your B combo. You can also chain the Y attacks and B attacks into each other nicely, and that's actually a very important change, and most people are not going to understand why that's such an important change, but I'm going to tell you why. The important reason is because it allows you to gain access to Y button hits mid combo. And why is that important? Because Y button combo hits let you move. You can do like a lateral, and then if the monster kind of inches back a little, you can gap close with it. You can seamlessly transfer into Y attacks and start moving and advancing towards a monster without having to do an advancing slash or a sliding swipe. Which, if the distance is short enough, you want to do chops, advancing chops instead, not advancing slash, not sliding swipe, because they're just not as DPS efficient. So one very common thing you can do is if you have a large gap they need to close, but like a sliding swipe can't quite reach, because sliding swipe is your largest gap closer. You can do sliding swipe and then just go into a chop, but press forward when you press the first chop and you'll literally go forward, and that is incredibly strong. That provides a niche case for the Y button hits, the chop hits that the other buttons can't do. This is actually perfect weapon design. Props to the developers. Whoever at Capcom designed Sword and Shield for Monster Hunter Wilds, probably give that guy a raise because he made the weapon amazing. Now, you may be wondering why Sword and Shield was so crappy during the open beta. I honestly think it's because they just had a really old build for the open beta, and they weren't expecting people to be so sweaty about the game. So I suspect these changes were already in the final version of the game, but we can just speculate forever on that, so it doesn't particularly matter. So next I'm going to talk about Perfect Rush, and most of you are probably going to hear all you wanted to hear about Perfect Rush and then click off the video. But I'm going to actually save a very super elite tip for you at the end of the video. So if you leave the video early, you're not going to get the tip, and it's actually more important than the changes to Perfect Rush. So Perfect Rush is a viable, not really, and the reason is just doesn't do enough damage. So, which is ironic because they buffed Perfect Rush 1 a lot, as well as Perfect Rush 3, which Perfect Rush 3, I'm calling it Perfect Rush 3, but it's basically the scaling slash, which comes after Perfect Rush 2. And the reason it's not good is because the buffs that they gave to Perfect Rush 1 and scaling slash are just not enough. They're better than what they were in the open beta, but it's just not enough. Additionally, there's actually many reasons for this. One reason is they nerfed the leaping slash, which is part of the Perfect Rush combo. You have to do a leaping slash. And I've been saying this on stream, but Capcom doesn't understand the reason why Perfect Rush doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because of one very special move, and that's backstep. Backstep takes 1 whole second to do, and you do no damage while you're doing it. So when the monster is toppled on the ground, which is ideally the time you want to do the Perfect Rush combo, because your ass is planted in place doing these stupid kung fu moves, also known as Perfect Rush. Because you took 1 whole second to do nothing, that gimps your DPS by a lot. Even though they buffed Perfect Rush 1 and Scaling Slash, as well as Falling Stab as well, the fact that you have backstep in that combo kills it. Additionally, they nerfed Leaping Slash, which is the very first part of Perfect Rush, and why would you nerf that? Just keep it the same. It already doesn't do enough damage. Is it more competitive compared to the open beta? Yeah, but I still wouldn't use it. And there's actually a ton of reasons why I wouldn't use it. One of the first reasons is you're stationary when you use it. Your feet are literally planted in the ground. This is not Monster Hunter World where you just roll cancel easily out of Perfect Rush 1 or Perfect Rush 2. They actually nerfed the roll canceling ability on that move. They actually did that in the last game, Monster Hunter Rise, which I believe was the right move. Another thing that's wrong with Perfect Rush, in addition to the backstep and the ability to not roll out, cancel out, and the fact that you're stationary while doing it, is the potential to fail perfect inputs for Perfect Rush 1 and 2 and even 3. And I find this is actually very common with Perfect Rush 2, which is the shield bash part of the Perfect Rush combo. If you hit it perfectly, you do about 41 damage. If you miss the input, your damage goes down to 15, which is a tremendous drop in damage, and that just greatly hurts the damage. So on top of the combo already not competing enough with other combos to do enough damage, you're also actually there's also a chance that you could just F up the input and just do even less damage. Another problem with Perfect Rush too is the ability to miss hits. Like, the range on Perfect Rush is not good. It's just not not good. Perfect Rush 1, the range is not good. The shield bash is not good. The last hit on Perfect Rush 1, which is the 3 hit, you actually take a step back when you do the 3rd hit. So the probability of you missing that 1 hit is actually much greater. And if you miss a single hit in the Perfect Rush combo, you already can't compete with other combos. You're already just making the combo even worse. Just everything about Perfect Rush is bad from a gameplay and effectiveness standpoint. I will do more testing on falling stab. Falling stab is interesting. I collected 7 hits on the dummy while doing a falling stab, and you actually have to time it. So you press the falling stab right when you're above the monster so that you can try to land all the hits. Some people are reporting 8 ticks of damage. I think that's actually only possible on tall monsters. So the train W is probably not tall enough. I'll do a little bit more testing on that, but otherwise, like all the Perfect Rush combo and variants out of it are just not looking that good. And I'm actually going to show you with a chart why it's not good. Okay, so if we look here, we can just look at the main combo I did literally the whole game, and it's very good and it's very fun to do, which is the B combo, Spinning Reaper, the charge chop 2, and then you can actually keep that going by doing a rising slash out of charge chop 2 and just go straight into the B combo again. So it's actually an infinite combo now, which is really good because Spinning Reaper in the last game, Monster Hunter Rise, was not an infinite combo. It literally killed your combo once you did Spinning Reaper because they intended for you to just stop for some reason. But the DPS of that combo is right here at 45 DPS, actually a little bit more than 45 DPS. And you can look here for the Perfect Rush variants here, and they're all junk. And you may be asking yourself, well, this one right here does more damage. You know, it's 50 DPS, and that's not correct because I just, out of curiosity, I just took out the backstep from that combo to see how that DPS changes when you add the backstep or take it out the backstep. So I just went from, without backstep, I just went from Leaping Slash into Perfect Rush 3. That DPS is 50, but you have to include the backstep in the combo. So backstep into Perfect Rush 3 is like 41, 42 DPS, and it's still worse than the B combo. And again, the B combo can repeat. You can do this indefinitely, and you can just keep going. You can stop at any place in the combo, which is actually perfect because it plays nicely into perfect guard. So players who can be very disciplined with their B combos, Spinning Rush, charge chop 2, rising, etc., and know when to stop and do a perfect guard is a very clear indicator of top tier Sword and Shield players. Well, going back to Perfect Rush, so you have to look at every other line here, the smaller bar. So we have Leaping Slash, Perfect Rush, Falling Bash, but if you add the backstep in, the DPS goes down from 45 to 40. Additionally, Falling Stab, DPS goes down from 45, and if you add the backstep into it, it goes down to below 40. These are not competing with the B combo, Spin Reaper, charge chop 2 combo. If you really wanted to put Perfect Rush in the game and make it viable, I actually know how to fix it. It's a very easy fix. One, remove the nerf on Leaping Slash that for some reason you put a nerf on Leaping Slash. I actually know why they did that. They're trying to backload the damage at the combo. You didn't need a nerf Leaping Slash though. But if you're gonna nerf Leaping Slash, say you want to do that, you have to get rid of one move, and that move is the backstep. You should be able to do Perfect Rush from Leaping Slash, just directly from neutral, go to Leaping Slash, and then go into Perfect Rush nonsense. But if you do it that way, I would restrict Perfect Rush even more, so the movement is so much worse. You cannot roll cancel out of Perfect Rush 1 or 2, or even 3 for that matter. So you're really dedicating it to topple punishing situations. You literally cannot spam it when the monster is on its feet, and that gives Perfect Rush a roll. And you do it once in a while, it's fun, and then it adds a little bit more variation to Sword and Shield play. Like I said earlier, I really couldn't give a I really don't care about Perfect Rush anymore because I'm having so much fun with doing the chops, sliding swipe, and the B combo. So let's talk about sliding swipe next. Sliding swipe is very, very strong. It's very strong. They actually, believe it or not, they nerfed it from the beta to the final release of the game. You just nerfed the damage, but they didn't really nerf any of the things that made sliding swipe really strong. And that was its ability to gap close, move very quickly, it has iframes. You can do it out of a guard. You can do it out of a sheath state. You can do it out of a unsheath state. You just do it anytime you want. Additionally, in addition to the gap closing properties and the other things I just said before, you can rotate pretty much infinitely coming out of the sliding swipe. So you can do like sliding swipe in any direction, and you can slide swipe in any direction too. You can slide swipe back. It's basically like a fade slash with ultimate precision. You can fade slash in any direction and then face wherever you want coming out of it. That's why it's so freaking strong. It has pretty much infinite. It has gap closing abilities. It has infinite rotational capabilities. It has iframes. It's a really good move. It has nothing to do with the damage. You can pretty much just skate anywhere. Now, if you just skate anywhere and just do sliding swipes during the fight, are you playing optimally? No, you're not really, because the DPS on it is actually not that good, especially if you're gap closing for distances that are smaller than the sliding swipe total distance. Again, to get maximum use out of the damage, out of the DPS of sliding swipe, you want to make sure you're sliding swipe the full distance, and when you come out of the hit and hit that hit. Anything less than that, you should be using advancing slash or the chop advancing Y combo. But another thing about sliding swipe too, that is very good, is you can actually focus strike really quickly out of it. And I find it's really good for like sliding to a wound and then just quickly poking it. And for some reason, focus strike cleanly chains out of sliding swipe, which is really nice and really fun to do. Okay, so one more thing that was nerfed was the infinite charge chop combo, which is good. That was really stupid. How you did it basically was you did a chop and then charge chop one, which is not an empowered charge chop by the way, and then a rising and then a charge chop, then a rising, then a charge chop, then a rising, and you just did that infinitely. And you can see here its DPS went down. It was actually somewhere up here to about 30 now, and it's just not viable anymore. Just don't do it. Yeah, you can still do it, but your damage is gonna suck. And that's a good change. I approve of that. All right, so the last thing that I was saving for last that I really want to talk about for Sword and Shield is the focus strike. And actually one of my viewers pointed this out to me. I forget who it was, so just whoever pointed it out to me, type your name in the comments and it's gonna give you credit or whatever. But basically it's the drill slash from Monster Hunter Rise. And if you guys remember drill slash from Monster Hunter Rise, it was basically a switch skill, or I forget whatever they're called in Monster Hunter Rise, but basically you slotted in that skill, and it was mainly used for elemental damage. It was kind of a move you could do, which was like you stick your arm, you thrust into the monster, and then you kind of twist and it drill, and had like 3 or 4 hits on it. And it was mainly for elemental damage, and I'm not sure if it was viable because I didn't really do analysis for Sword and Shield back in the Monster Hunter Rise days, but that move is actually back in Monster Hunter Wilds, and Capcom is so fucking sneaky too, because they didn't even tell you about this move. And how do you do drill slash in Monster Hunter Wild? Well, it's basically doing a focus strike on a pre-wound. So a pre-wound is when you start to see that white scarring on the monster part, and that's an indicator that if you keep hitting it a little bit more, it's going to turn into a full wound. If you do a focus strike on a pre-wound, you will do a drill slash from Monster Hunter Rise. If you do a focus strike on a non-pre-wound or non-wound part, so it has no scarring or no wound on it, you'll just do like just a quick stab that does like no damage. But what is the damage on drill strike? Well, let's see. Look how little time it takes to do. It takes a little bit more than 1 second to do, and look how much damage it does. It does almost 60 DPS. This is actually the strongest move in Sword and Shield's moveset. I actually think counter slash is out of perfect guard, but I actually didn't add it yet. But honestly, you should always be doing counter slashes out of perfect guard. It's just no brainer strong. I'll add it to the spreadsheet later, so subscribe if you're interested, if you want the full down low on a fully analyzed Sword and Shield, which I'm saving for later. This should keep you guys satiated for now though. But look at this, drill slash 60 damage. It is actually very, very, very strong, and Capcom didn't even freaking tell you guys about this move. It's so sneaky. If we look at Vital Stab here, Vital Stab actually does 40 DPS. It's pretty respectable for 2 seconds, because Vital Stab you can just do it out of neutral, right? You just get it as you pop your wounds, right? But drill slash is what increases the skill ceiling immensely for Sword and Shield, because even if you're in focus mode, you cannot clearly see where the pre-wounds are or the white scarring. If you're in focus mode, you can see where the wounds are when the red glowing thing is showing. But if you do a focus strike on it, you're going to do Vital Stab, which is the standard focus strike attack for popping wounds. But you need to have a very keen eye to see where white scarring is so that you can do drill slash, because you want to get as many drill slash opportunities as possible. It is so fast, it does a lot of damage, and it's pretty much after you do a drill slash, it's going to turn into a wound after 5 or 6 hits on the drill slash, and they're pretty hard hitting hits too. Anyways, that's a down low on Sword and Shield from someone who played it, I don't know, pretty much to Hunter rank 100, and I feel like I know what I'm talking about. But anyways, that's for you guys to decide. Subscribe for more content if you're interested in this. We're doing all the weapons. Thanks for watching.